And it's so crazy for like people to just expect us to be liberal when honestly black people are conservative.
Talk to them.
Oh, like church folk don't do this, don't do. I mean, I could go to I'm not married. When me and my boyfriend go to my aunt's house today, I don't care if y'all live in y'all house together or not. Y'all not sleeping in the same bed together in my house. Like, we are very conservative people.
Talk to them.
You know, our roots are, and I don't understand that. I think it's okay. I'm like you. And you're speaking not even to black people, Americans in general. It is okay for people to have a different opinion and political opinion than you. And also when it comes to, I know like there's a lot of white people too that just feel like you have to be Republican. You have to go do your research. Cause there's a lot of like poor white people as well. Not always a Republican is for you or want to help you. You don't have to, you know? I just think, again, black people and just America in general, it will push them, both parties, to see the bigger picture and not just this area, that's where I'm going to get my votes. This area, that's where I'm going to get my votes. But moving on, speaking of the black votes and Republicans and black people and being diverse, we did have that black jobs comment that came from Trump. Trump said, they're taking black jobs now, and it could be 18, it could be 19, and even 20 million people. They're taking black jobs and they're taking Hispanic jobs, and you haven't seen it yet, but you're going to see something that's going to be the worst in our history. When you just initially hear that, are you offended? Do you have anything that rattles your soul?
Hey, dreaming how dreamers do. Most of my life feel like deja vu. Even when the pressure's on, I'm careful how I make my moves. Mamba mentality, I ain't come here to play to lose. Why would I play with you? But if you made me choose, I'ma go with me. You down to go with me? Of course it won't be perfect, it'll feel complete to say the least.
What's up, guys? I'm your girl, Char. This is my guy, Tio, and this is my guy, Mike.
We here. It's episode 5. All things considered, came a long way.
We did. We came a long way, y'all. And if you are still tuned in and you're watching us and you haven't subscribed, you're trifling.
Okay.
Trifling. You're down there.
Subscribe.
All right, so subscribe to the pod. Y'all, what y'all got to realize is from an algorithm standpoint, all right, if you're watching and you're not liking, you're not commenting, that means that you're being a ghost follower. All right, we don't like any of those. So subscribe to the pod and comment and like.
Click the button, subscribe.
Let's get it. Let's go.
All right,
We
y'all.
got a good topic today. I love it. I'm ready.
For this topic and for what went down yesterday, I had to wear my blessed shirt.
Who we made.
Woo! Because America, we need some blessings, y'all. we need some blessings.
What a time.
What a time it is. Okay. All right, let's rip this Band-Aid off. Donald Trump.
Uncle T.
Donnie T. Not Don Toliver, but Donnie T.
Y'all, they tried to take Donnie out. Or did they? Did they try to take Donnie out? Did Donnie try to take Donnie out?
Man.
On the slick. What happened? Okay, let's talk about it. First of all, one of y'all tell me, start off, how do you feel about this assassination attempt on Donald Trump?
Well, from the first thoughts, I'm not gonna lie. All right. Going into this thing, I'm like, hold on, is this WWE? What the hell is going? It was giving me WWE vibes. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just going based off of my initial reaction because my man was like, they was holding him back and he had the fist up, so it was really kind of giving me, WWE vibes, old school WWE. I mean, where's The Rock, Stone Cold, Steve, Triple H? Like, what's going on? But, the more and more I look into it, I'm just like, man, this man, that's real blood. His ear really got hit. I mean, the dude was a couple of centimeters away from a head turn from being gone. Rest in peace. Uncle T's gone. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, those are my initial reactions. It was crazy. It's crazy. T.O., what you think, man?
Man, for the sake of America, I hope we get to the point where tragedy strikes and the first thing that we think isn't going to be some sort of conspiracy theory.
Oh.
I just think for the sake of our hearts, like, change your heart posture in this, because it's like, oh, this is fake. This person died on this day and we doing these numbers.
Oh,
and
man.
I just, it never sits well with me. You get what I'm saying? Obviously he didn't pass, but I knew the conspiracy theorists were going to go crazy, and still going crazy with this one. Woo. As far as what Mike is saying, looking WWE, I don't know if it's fake, but I do know it was sloppy. Like whatever the case may be, somebody messed up. Because you look at just the angles and all the different videos, I'm like, that somebody messed up on their watch. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So it'll be interesting the more information that comes out about it. I'm definitely going to be tuned in. But I just, my initial thoughts were like, man, I really hope people realize that somebody could have lost their life, and to have some remorse with that. You get what I'm saying?
We are happy he's okay. Let us say that. We do not want anybody.
Not everybody's happy.
Right. I know. Talk to him.
It would have caused. We're happy he's okay because we don't want anyone to die, but I don't think people realize that it would have caused more chaos.
In all things considered, the podcast.
Yes, it would have caused a lot more chaos. I mean, when he was getting ready to end his presidency, people stormed the Capitol. So can you imagine what would have happened if he would have actually died?
Right.
I mean, even if you don't like where our country is now, that is not the answer.
Right,
and it would have just been in even more of an uproar.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
I think it's safe to piggyback on what Tobin was saying, and this is something that I've started doing, especially with big tragedy. Like, me and T used to go back and forth on the Diddy stuff, but I'm not gonna lie. I'll be honest. Not to swerve the conversation, but I was one of the ones that I didn't give judgment initially. You remember that, right?
Right.
I always wait till I find a little bit more of the facts that come out. So we live in this era right now where somebody sees something and then boom, they're rushing to give immediate judgment on what happened. And to me, that can kind of come off as insensitive sometimes, because it's just like you don't know what happened. And even though my initial reaction was like, this shit, it's fishy, but I was still kind of quiet about it until some of the more facts came out. And I'm just like, no. There's 2 people that died. And then there's another person that got injured. And then Donald Trump ear got hit.
Yeah.
When somebody's dead, I don't think it's staged.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
I am a believer in 2 things. I think that I'm not going to cast judgment. I'm going to wait till more information comes out before I give my full-blown opinion on something. But I also believe that where there's smoke, there's fire. And when something initially comes out, I'm not immediately going to cast that judgment. But when things are repeated behaviors with different people speaking on the same things, that's when I'm like, okay, even when it hasn't fully got there yet,
right.
There's a little bit of smoke. There's fire at the end of that. And we've seen that happen in multiple situations, whether you want to talk Diddy or someone I think about right now that no one really is talking currently, someone like Trey Songz. You know what I'm saying? Like, people saying his documentary gonna be worse than R. Kelly. You know what I'm saying? So there's nothing, he hasn't got there yet, but there's a lot of smoke. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. So I wait to fully cast judgment until I get more and more information.
Yeah.
I normally wait because you never know, but yesterday I was blowing their phone up. I was like, man, I don't know, but it's only because it's Donald Trump. Like, I just think Donald Trump, he's a different character. You know what I'm saying? And I really feel like he is a person that would do whatever it takes. Right. That is definitely his mentality and his attitude, which isn't bad in some cases, but if you take it overboard, then it can be. So I was initially very, very fishy. Like, I was like, I don't know, and whether it was staged or not, it definitely has helped him. Like, all I see right now is Donald Trump. I'm voting for him. Oh, yes. All these kind of things, you know.
He's swaying votes.
So here is my, my big opinion on based off of the facts that we have. Because what people got to realize is, just for people listening, if somebody no one is trained that good enough to be able to, shoot a rifle at that type of distance and come that close to a president.
So it's hard enough to hit what you want to hit,
let alone come that close and not hit the target.
But was he hit though? There was one saying the Secret Service said that it was a piece of glass from the teleprompter that hit him. He's saying he was shot, but the Secret Service is saying it was glass.
The facts that came out right now, whether he was hit, not hit, what we do know that is an actual fact is that bullet came extremely close to his head. Okay, so what made him bleed, whatever. But what we do know is that he has an ear. His ear was hit by something, but the bullet was extremely close to his head. And what I'm saying is, as a marksman, as somebody that is shooting a rifle at that distance, that level of distance, it is almost nearly impossible for somebody to shoot someone intentionally that close and not want to hit them. So one thing that we can say based off of the facts that we have is the person who was trying to shoot him was actually trying to kill him, right? So that kind of, in my opinion, eliminates the whole it was staged deal. I think it was one of two options. You know, it was either there was somebody on the inside that was trying to kill Donald Trump. You know, whether that's from the other side, whether that's whoever, but there could be possibly somebody from the inside, because it did come out that our shooters, our snipers who was protecting the place did eventually see the target. They saw him on the roof. There was somebody that was notifying Secret Service that there was somebody that just climbed onto the roof, and he said that they didn't do anything about it. So those are some facts that was out. I know y'all seen the video we posted in the chat. And then number two would be that it was just a sloppy job from the Secret Service side.
Yeah.
It was just sloppy. They've been saying that their Secret Service has kind of been understaffed, and and there are some junior Secret Service people involved in Donald Trump's camp right now. So I think it's either it was a sloppy job on the Secret Service side and they didn't do a good enough job protecting our former president, or it was an inside job to where they knew that somebody was about to get ready to take him out and they wanted to let it happen, and then they take the target out. Basically, somebody sacrificing their life. I think it's one of those two. But being completely staged, I don't know if Donald Trump is going to sign up for a bullet being that close to his head. I don't think the dude's that damn tough.
And that's why I think it's a mixture of those 2 points that you said, because as we talked about, as a marksman, somebody who's ever shot a gun ever in their life, you understand hitting your target is difficult to do.
Absolutely.
Hitting a moving target is difficult to do. So if it was staged and they were trying to get somebody to do that, you would probably get somebody with a ton of experience.
Yeah,
somebody with a military background.
Yes,
this is a
the kid was 20 years of age.
Yeah,
if it was staged, I'm thinking they're going to get a former military.
Exactly,
they're not going to go get a 20-year-old kid.
Yeah,
exactly.
Think about
whole life ahead of him. Like I don't even know if a 20-year-old is going to sign up to be like, let me be the martyr for this. You know what I'm saying? Take me out.
Dude can't even rent a car from Enterprise.
So I don't know though. That's why I don't necessarily think it was staged.
What 20-year-old is? You have to know that if you're going to take an attempt on the president, you're gonna die. So you have to think that this is a 20-year-old that was willing to die. You don't think that you're just gonna walk away from this and just get away and run away.
I agree.
So it still had to be somebody that felt so strongly about this, whether it was staged or it wasn't, that they were willing to die.
And we have those people that go into those big buildings and movies, and I mean, that's shooting up places. I mean, they have to understand, like, hey, I'm gonna die, and I'm okay with that right now.
That happens every day when you sign up to be the personal bodyguard for somebody. That is you saying, I'm willing to lose my life for that person. The people do this, all the time. So I don't know. So y'all are in agreement that you don't feel it was a staged. It might have been something that was
Me
off,
and Tobin is finally agreeing.
But like that, y'all are agreeing.
Finally got my dog back.
Okay. There might be something off. We're still waiting on facts, but we do not think that Donald Trump staged this. But it worked out.
Somebody slipped up.
He got an amazing photo from.
That shit's getting framed up right now.
Yeah, I saw somebody say this is going down in history. That photo is going down in history for sure.
Oh man, crazy.
So
crazy.
Since we're on the subject, though, of Donald Trump, let's keep talking about politics and dive a little bit deeper about the black side of politics, right? So what is the black vote? We're going to start with you on this one, Mike. Like, what do you think that means for us?
The black vote. I think what the black vote means is, just basically the candidate that black people are choosing. I think that's the black vote. Typically when you're looking at classes of people, I think you have, your conservative white vote. I think you have your liberal white vote. I think you have your, Hispanic vote, for your typically people of Hispanic descent. And then you have the black vote, in America. Those are the different class sets of votes. Typically, black people are historically siding on the Democratic side of the coin, and the Democrats is who gets the black vote. And I think it's a bunch of bullshit. I really do. I think it's a bunch of BS. I feel that every single candidate, no matter who you are, red, blue, green, purple, every single candidate should be fighting to earn black support, to earn the black vote. I don't care that you got Kamala Harris, in this position so that you can get the black vote. I also don't care that you're going to Breakfast Club and you're being in rap songs and lyrics and on stage. To me, that's just, you're parading around the issue. Yeah. If you want the black vote, you have to be able to adopt black policies or policies that directly affects black people. And to me, that's how you're able to earn the black vote. You're not just talking about it though. You have a track record, or this is what I have in line. These are the actionable steps that I'm going to be doing to solve some of these black people's problems. When the Democrats have on their agenda, it's clear. They know that they're going after the LBGTQ.
I know it's a lot of letters. LGBTQ.
I'm sorry, y'all.
IA plus.
Yeah,
they're going after the because it's Yo,
you call it alphabet game,
bro. It is. I'm sorry, y'all, but it's a lot of letters. Okay?
It is a lot of. We respect the LGBTQ plus community, but it is a lot of letters.
So they're going after the LG. Okay. How do we continue this All right.
It's a lot of letters and they expanding.
Okay. But for real though, they're going after other things. We know that on the Democratic side, on the liberal side, they're going after a certain type of people. Even the people that are pushing for gay rights, they are literally going after these people and trying to get bills, marriage, same-sex marriage, and all these different things that they're going after. Another people that are benefiting from this, they're trying to go after the Latino vote, Hispanics. They're adopting new policies. We haven't seen anything for black people. We haven't seen anything specifically for black people, and I think that's a problem because the Democrats has gotten cocky. They're waking up like, all right, we already got the black vote, so what else do we have to do here?
I believe that,
and that's what they're doing, and I think that's a big problem.
I think the biggest issue with what we're calling the black vote is that people don't necessarily do their research to see what benefits them and their families the most.
Yes. Right.
What really benefits black culture the most. And because black people can be so easily influenced by things, we see them voting on candidates who may or may not have their best interests at heart based off the things that they're doing, which is an easy grab at the black vote. Whether you look at Donald Trump putting out these shoes, you know what I'm saying? Or you have these rappers and entertainers siding with them and showing public support. You got people who are making rap songs, including these people's names in their songs, or just simply being black, whether that's, former President Obama, or that's Vice President, Kamala Harris. People just going with that because how it pulls on them emotionally. And I think a lot of times
the
black
one.
people are more
Yeah.
emotionally driven when it comes to
That's the one.
what they do politically, as opposed to how are those policies actually affecting you.
Bingo. Bingo.
Yeah.
I hated when we turned our back on Ice Cube. There in the last election, we black people turned their back on Ice Cube only because what Ice Cube did, he went and reached out to both candidates. He reached out to the Biden administration and he reached out to the Trump administration. And guess who was the candidate that was willing to bring him in and sit down and actually talk about policies for black people? Guess who it was?
Trump.
Trump. And guess what Ice Cube did? He took that call, he went there and he sat at the table and he talked about what is Trump going to do for the black community.
And black people killed him just for sitting
And black
down.
people killed him just for sitting down. So this alone lets you understand that we are highly emotional. What Ice Cube was saying was, I don't care about none of that. I don't care about none of that extra stuff. What are you doing for me?
Yeah.
What are you doing for us? And that's what we have to start pushing all of these candidates into.
Yeah.
I don't care. Look, to be honest, man, look, you know, a lot of these different candidates, a lot of these different people, a lot of the times, they sometimes you have overt racism where it's right in your face. And sometimes they have, you know, people can be racist where they don't appear that way, but policy wise, there's
You can see it.
Oh man.
Yeah.
You know, so at this point it's just like, you know, forget all that. What are you doing for us on paper right now? And I think that was something very important that I love that Ice Cube was doing, and I don't like that we was at his neck for it.
I'm curious just because, and this is for both of you guys, something that we've seen black people say a lot is they feel like their vote doesn't count. So instead of doing their research on the candidates that are available and picking who they're going to vote for, they just say, I'm not going to vote. Do y'all think that's, like, how do y'all feel about people who go about it that way? Just not voting at all?
I personally feel like you should vote. It is hard to feel like your one vote out of everybody that's in America is going to count. But it is everybody's vote together. Like yours does count because we have to get everybody's together. It's hard to think of that big picture when you're just one person, but we need just one person to vote. Right. If you truly believe in what, you know, the person that you're voting for, because if you're not into it and you're not that type, okay, don't vote. Don't just go vote for a Democrat or a Republican just because that's how you grew up or you're white or you're black and you feel like, because then your vote does count. You could be putting in somebody that you don't. If you really look at what they stand for, it does not go, you know, line up with your family, like what you were saying. Yeah. So in that case, don't, because you're not. But if you really sit down and you're into it and you want to feel like you know, you're going for someone that is going to put in policies that's going to benefit your family, you know, the people of your generation, your race, it does count. Yeah. Every one little vote. Yes, it's one vote, but we need that every one vote to be put in so that if you believe in what this person stands for, that person could possibly get in office.
Yeah. If you don't vote, you're waiving your right to criticize.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Yeah.
If you do not vote, you are waiving your right to criticize. So if you're somebody who don't vote, don't talk to me about the economy, don't talk to me about the president, don't talk to me about who the governor is, don't talk to me about who's racist, who's not, don't talk to me about the school system.
Don't talk to me about your taxes.
Don't talk to me about the taxes, the prices, the economy. I don't want to hear nothing if you don't vote. So in my opinion, most people, you know, which is almost 99% of us, have talked about those issues, which means that you have every interest in voting, you know, and even though sometimes it can be the lesser of two evils, pick which lesser of those two evils fit where you are.
I agree.
In your life.
Yes.
You know, because and then people talk about, well, the president doesn't affect me. Okay, but the local council do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and when last time I checked, when you're going to vote, it's not just the president.
It's multiple,
You know, it's literally all the way down to the damn county. You know what I'm saying? So it's like every black person has to stop. To me, it's lazy. It's laziness. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's giving us a sense of, I really don't want to vote, so I'm just kind of saying this because it makes me feel better.
Yeah.
Like, no, get your lazy ass up and go vote. It's not going to take nothing but 10, 15 minutes. Go vote. All right. All the other races are voting. We need to be voting because we are the ones that are criticizing these candidates and criticizing who's in office. So that means that we have our civic duty to go out there and vote.
It's a complete mentality shift. You know what I'm saying? Because maybe your one vote doesn't count, but if you think of that mentality being for an entire group of people,
then
that's when it takes its full effect.
Yeah.
So it does come down to picking, the lesser of two evils or whatever the case may be. Yeah. And seeing what lines up with your values and your morals more than the other. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah. I completely agree. I feel like I've always felt like this. There isn't one perfect candidate, right?
Yeah,
like the Republicans, they do some stuff that I like. The Democrats do some stuff that I like, But like you said, pick the one that benefits you the most. And I honestly feel like you don't have to be super into politics. You don't have to know this bill, that bill. But we have so many resources within social media today that you can literally find just the bullet points. You can look up Republicans and Trump. You can look up Biden and Democrats and just get bullet points on what they stand for. And from that, you can pull out, okay, this is, because like you said, everybody's complaining about something. Yeah. So if you're going to complain, figure out which one works best for you and go out there and vote. Right. Like they literally within your companies, they make it, and the polls, they try to make it so that it is available time for everyone to be able to go out there and vote. Again, we're not judging you if you don't, but if you are going to complain about it, why don't you just go do something about it? Yeah. That's how I feel. And back to your point, I loved how you said how what are you doing for black people? The Democrats, how they just think they have black people. I am so with you because a president, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, you are the president of the United States of America.
Right.
You're the president for all races, for all kind. So both of them need to be pushed to do something for everybody, to make sure that every race that lives within this country has, the best benefits, every single one. Nobody should be outnumbering the other. And even in that comment of like, you feel like, oh, the president, it doesn't affect me. It does. They passed some pretty big bills. Just like we could talk about whether you believe in abortion or not. That was a big one that you cannot. Like, those little things, like those matter. Yeah. Like,
and the thing that we haven't talked about enough yet is why do people believe that all black people are the same?
Right.
Like that irks me. Man.
Not even are we not all the same. Who I am today is not who I was 4 years ago or 8 years ago.
You're telling me I have different viewpoints from literally just the last presidential cycle. Literally, I've changed from Obama to and then I'm changing. It's as I grow, I'm going with what represents my value at this particular time, and that's okay. Like it's okay to black people to have different ideas. Look, I'm gonna tell you right now, if Char and Tobin are on two different sides of the spectrum here. It is okay with me.
It is, yeah.
Somebody can be a Democrat and somebody can be Republican, and guess what? We're going to ride together because it's okay for us to be different. Black people, we have different ideas. We have different viewpoints. Sometimes we have different cultures, and that's completely okay. The more that we accept that this man can be different from me, but I'm not going to come at his neck because he's not a part of the black way or the black vote. And that's what's happening to other people in other cultures. If you're looking at white people, for example, you have white people that are liberal, then you have some white people that are conservative. If you're looking at, Hispanics, you have some Hispanics that are liberal, and then you have some Hispanics that are conservative. But when you look at black people, everybody expects black people to all be liberal. We have to all be going with whoever is supporting, the poor, or food stamps,
minorities,
or the government assistance or whatever. No one, they're saying that there's no black people that can be conservative. If you choose to be conservative, you're a sellout, you're Uncle Tom, and we have to stop. It's okay for black people to be diverse, and I feel that the more we actually push diversity amongst our group in our culture, the more candidates will feel like they have to fight for our vote.
Yeah, I believe that. And it's so crazy for like people to just expect us to be liberal when honestly black people are conservative.
Talk to them.
Oh, like church folk don't do this, don't do. I mean, I could go to I'm not married. When me and my boyfriend go to my aunt's house today, I don't care if y'all live in y'all house together or not. Y'all not sleeping in the same bed together in my house. Like, we are very conservative people.
Talk to them.
You know, our roots are, and I don't understand that. I think it's okay. I'm like you. And you're speaking not even to black people, Americans in general. It is okay for people to have a different opinion and political opinion than you. And also when it comes to, I know like there's a lot of white people too that just feel like you have to be Republican. You have to go do your research. Cause there's a lot of like poor white people as well. Not always a Republican is for you or wants to help you. You don't have to, you know? I just think, again, black people and just America in general, it will push them, both parties, to see the bigger picture and not just this area, that's where I'm going to get my votes. This area, that's where I'm going to get my votes. But moving on, speaking of the black votes and Republicans and black people and being diverse, we did have that black jobs comment that came from Trump. And if I may, let me read the quote. Trump said, "They're taking black jobs now. And it could be 18, it could be 19, and even 20 million people. They're taking black jobs and they're taking Hispanic jobs. And you haven't seen it yet, but you're going to see something that's going to be the worst in our history." First off, before we even figure out what a black job is, when you just initially hear that, are you offended? Do you have anything that rattles your soul? Either one of you?
Okay. So I'll go. All right. So here's the thing. One thing that we have found out with Trump is he is going to say he's not here to spare feelings. Okay.
No.
So if you're somebody who is highly emotional, you're somebody who has a lot of feelings on these things, and you vote emotionally, I think you need to kind of retrain how you're going about it, because always remember, it's not about how I feel, it's about what's on the dotted line.
Yeah.
Okay. When you talk about, policies, and you talk about what's being actually adapted into law, it's what ends up being there on the dotted line. Okay. And we have to get out of this whole emotional thing, because both candidates, you got one candidate over here that's only feeding into the emotion and they ain't getting nothing done on the line. Then you have another candidate who is getting some things done on the line, but is not feeding the emotional. So what are we doing as a people? We're like, oh, I'm over here. Like, what? You said what? Black jobs? Okay, I'm voting opposite way. Here's my answer to the whole black jobs thing. All right. Let's talk about Hispanics, for example. Are there jobs that are considered Hispanic jobs? Let's be 100 on the podcast right now. Are there jobs right now that are considered Hispanic jobs?
Yeah, I'm not going to call them Hispanic jobs, but there are jobs that we know. Yes, Hispanic people are going to. Yes, are going to. You get
what I'm saying?
Yes,
that are more geared towards. We know. Okay, if there's builders, the people that's outside working on these home construction,
yes,
there is a type of job that we 100% know. If you're into construction, you're gonna run into a Hispanic guy out there working. You know what I'm saying? Working hard. There are certain jobs that we know that are geared towards Hispanic people. It's just the facts, right? And whether black people want to be 100 with you, because one thing is black people sit up here and then they'll show you, oh, there's black doctors, oh, there's black surgeons, and there's black this and that and all these different things. But black people don't ever want to be labeled. And I understand it. From an emotional standpoint, I get it. But unfortunately, me personally, I'm a guy that is going off of statistics.
Okay.
And the statistics are showing that there are certain jobs that are more being, done by black people. And what Trump is saying is, hey, these jobs that you want, because on one end of the spectrum, black people are literally were the founding fathers of a lot of different things in this country.
Yeah.
Like we literally made the stop sign, and we literally, made the, red light, green light, and all these different constructions that black people have done in this country. Who has replaced those damn jobs for us right now? They've been replaced by a group of people. So, what Trump is saying is, look, these illegal people that are coming over here, they taking y'all jobs that y'all once dominated. Is that a lie? Think about it.
Right.
So that's just how I feel about it. I think the man is saying what most people wouldn't say. And that's how I feel.
Ain't no think he is.
I don't know. I personally like the fact that people kind of, for one, were able to make light of it. I mean, if you look on social media, there was a ton of jokes about black jobs and what that really entails. Yeah. I personally appreciate whenever we're able to break the stereotype because, like you said, there were jobs that were considered black jobs, but that almost puts us in a box. You know what I'm saying? So anytime that we're able to do something to break us out of a box, like become the president or become a doctor, become a lawyer, just in general, a well-to-do people, I appreciate that. So we're not, it's not a roof kept on what our capabilities are. You know what I'm saying? So I actually appreciate it whenever I see people in these different spaces. I look at, the space that I'm in. I work in a company that's mostly white people who sells to white people who work in offices of white people and treat white patients. You get what I'm saying? So that's not a black job, but when you break that mold, I appreciate it. And I'm always trying to bring people along with me. I've got people all the time who are like, oh, get me into medical device sales. And I'm trying to get more and more people to break that mold so there's more representation of us in these spaces so we look like we belong.
I love it. But to be honest, medical device sales is controlled a lot of the times. If you look at black people, it's Nigerians that are controlling medical device sales. There's a lot of Nigerians that are in that job. I don't care what anybody say. The numbers say when it comes to medical device sales, if you're looking at from a black person standpoint, it is a Nigerian dominated job sector right now. And right now, if you start hiring Asians to now replace that, then it's like the Asians are replacing what's dominated by Nigerian Americans. And it's just the facts. Like if you talk about it from a nursing standpoint as well. There are a lot of Nigerian women in healthcare. People in Nigeria, diaspora here is in healthcare. Everyone knows. I mean, we can sit up here and say, oh yeah, the Nigerians there, they can be in all these other sectors. I'm sorry. All right. Nigerians dominate in the healthcare space. If you start hiring Asians and all these different races to replace them, they are replacing Nigerian jobs. It's just the facts.
But they're still looked at as black people.
Yeah, but that's not what he was talking about, right? Like he's talking about illegal people. In order to be able to get a job like that, you gotta went to school, have some type of right. When he's saying that, he's talking about like illegal people coming, right? Am I understanding this right?
Yeah.
So I don't think we're talking about like more prestigious jobs. When I think of it's like more like bottom of the barrel type jobs, which I feel like a lot of people thought that. So it's just like they don't want to be put in that box of like black jobs are just like these like bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, but Char, that's your understanding of those
jobs.
But
what is the understanding? Did he tell us, or everybody's just left to form their opinion?
Well, let's talk about it. That's why we're on the pod, right? Let's talk about it. But why
like, was he talking about that, like the educated jobs that, like, oh, now they're coming in, or was he talking about this? Or
well, if we're looking at statistics, okay, I'm not saying that there's not black nurses out there. I'm not saying that there's not a lot of black medical device sales when you talk about black Americans. But what I am saying is, Tobin, in your industry right now, black Americans versus Nigerian Americans, who's dominating the medical device sales?
Truth be told, there is a lot of black Americans. I'm not gonna lie to you, and I'm not saying
compared to the number. Compared to the number, though, there's more black people. So compared to the number of Nigerians that we have here in America, compared to the number of black people that we have here, because you have to look at it, you can't skew the data. You have to look at it according to population as well. Mm-hmm. When you look at the population of black people and you look at the population of Nigerians and you compare them to the number of people that's in that sector, what is it?
That's what I'm saying. Truth be told, I still see a lot of black Americans, but I really do. And that's not just to me feeding into my point, but that's what I see in my company. That's what I see in other companies when I start looking at, okay, who are the other black people I know in medical devices or healthcare and things like that. I see a pretty good split, whether it's Nigerian Americans or African Americans or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, I just disagree, bro.
I just feel like,
I'm sorry, I disagree.
I just feel like I wish he would have explained. I wish he would have
it,
explained more, because we don't know what he meant by black jobs. Like, did he mean what you're saying? Like, those are prestigious jobs. Those are great jobs. Or was he talking about bottom of the barrel jobs like that nobody else wants, and like illegal people can come in because you're paying them under the table?
What is a bottom of the barrel job? What is a bottom of the barrel job?
I feel, okay, let me take it, not a bottom of the barrel job, a job that you don't actually need an education for. Like, you don't need an education to go, like, I don't know, build a house or something like that. You need an education to go be a nurse.
Lot of money in that sector. Like, I'm in that sector. There is a lot of money in construction.
When you're paying somebody that's illegal, that person's not making a lot of money. Then that's why they're hiring them, because they just want to make money wherever they can. So I just wish he would have explained more, like, what exactly.
I agree.
I'm not saying what he said was wrong or we should be offended. I just wish he would have gave just a little bit more context about it. Like, if he just could have been like, statistically, these jobs are, blah, 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 and just explained a little bit more. You know, not just throw a comment out there like that and then leave it for us to, like, guess what exactly that you're talking about if you truly care about this.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of black people who had questions. Yeah. So if you truly cared about this topic and this subject of them taking these jobs, when you saw that, they come back and address things all the time. Yeah. Not once did he come back and address what exactly he meant by a black job. And there was a lot of people that had a question about that.
What I was referring to earlier is, if you're looking at a totality of black males, for example, right? If we go right now and poll 100 black males and we ask them, what's your occupation? Okay. I could bet a good number of the money that's in my account right now that a lot of those answers won't come back and they tell me that they're doing medical device sales.
I don't think it would be for Nigerians either.
That I would disagree with. I just would disagree.
That's
like, there is a lot of Nigerians that's in that industry. Why are you?
There's not, though.
Okay.
The number is already small. Like, whenever I see black people join our company or any other company, I'm like filled with joy, because I know there's not a lot of us in these spaces.
Okay, guys. I think the way we need to settle this, we're going to settle this for y'all.
Man, T.O. is full of shit. He knows that there are a lot of Nigerians in the medical sales.
Can we look
know
this
that.
up?
Why are you not, bro? You know that.
Listen, I go to different sales conferences, national sales meetings, and things like that. It's not flooded with a bunch of Nigerians there, bro.
Can we look this up statistically? Like, and put this on and let the people know.
We're gonna put it in the comments.
We're
gonna put it in the comments.
Because T.O., come on now. All right, every group. I'm in so many group chats. I meet so many people, so many Nigerians that are graduates, that are educated. Me and Tobin have multiple friends that are in our same friends group that do the same job, like similar jobs.
And I bet you can count them on two hands,
bro. You say that like you know hundreds of people who do this. I'm saying I bet you can count them on two hands. Okay,
I'm in the space. And I can count them on two hands.
The number of Nigerians that there are right now are in America right now. You're acting like we're 9 million. Like, we are not that many. Or when you talk about, okay, so if we're eliminating medical device sales, then tell me where we are in dominating. Then tell me,
dominating in.
Yep. Tell me.
As far as wealthy to do jobs, I don't think there's the space that we dominate. We're always going to be the minority in those jobs.
That's my point from a population standpoint.
I feel like a lot of Nigerians are in tech as well.
I want you to tell me a Nigerian industry right now that a lot of Nigerian men are in. If you're saying that it's not medical device sales,
I'll put one
so
out there.
what else is it?
Engineering.
That's what I said. Yeah,
That
tech.
and that is another one. That's another one. So that you just name one. So
You asked me to name one.
Right. So, right.
Engineering, nursing. There's a lot of Nigerian nurses, which we talked about. I bet there's more Nigerian nurses. There's more Nigerians in engineering. There's more Nigerians in tech. Then medical device sales, 100%.
T.O. not tech. I'll give you nursing and engineering.
I promise you, I can find more Nigerians in engineering.
Will
tech.
you say that, because there are thousands of jobs out there?
Mm-hmm.
Will you be honest with me and say that a top 5 job right now is medical device sales from Nigerians?
I don't think so. I really don't think so.
Okay. Well, we'll
You
just,
probably
just have to
because
disagree.
you know 6, 7, 8 people in medical device sales, you might think it's oversaturated with Nigerians.
I don't think it's oversaturated. I just think that there's a good amount of
Out of the people
Nigerians.
that are in Nigeria and the U.S., do you feel like a good chunk of them are in medical device sales?
Yeah,
is what you're
and
saying.
maybe some of you guys are just, y'all don't want to have that label or be against status quo. But bro, on the outside looking in, bro, it's just I know over at least 20. You know what I'm saying? People in that sector. I'll give you engineering. There are a lot of Nigerians in engineering. That is a Nigerian dominated type of industry. Not that what I'm saying is
I get what you're saying.
Of the Nigerian population. Mm-hmm. I'll give you nursing. That's typically on the female side is dominating more, but there are a lot of male Nigerian nurses.
I'll throw another one out
in
you.
there.
Education. There's a lot of Nigerians in education.
There's a lot of Nigerians, period, in education, meaning there's a lot of Nigerians women.
You're right. I just read something. 45% of Nigerians work in education services.
Yes. I'll give you that.
I bet they're not saying that medical devices or medical sales in general.
But female, I think we were talking about male. We were talking about
They did say Nigerians are entering the medical field in the U.S. as an increased rate.
Thank you.
Medical field.
Medical field. I feel like, are you talking medical field in general or literally medical device?
He's talking medical sales. He's talking medical sales.
Because I do in medical field, like nurses and doctors, but I don't know about specifically
I'm telling you, medical sales is
device.
not dominated by Nigerians. Education, nursing, healthcare, engineering, tech. That's 5 right there.
Yeah, it says Nigerian Americans are also known for their contributions to medicine, science, technology, arts, and literature.
Not one of those are sales.
Bro, medicine and sales will be in the same sector. So there's no way that you can literally eliminate medical sales, and it's still a part of medical. So that stat line does not go against what I'm saying. Okay. So we can look further into this, but we will. Yeah, I think what's happening is you're taking your experience as you're being in it. It's just like it's just like when somebody says, "Oh, I don't see color. I don't in my lifetime." It doesn't mean that it's not out there. What I'm saying?
But I think I have a better view of what's happening than you do.
No, I don't. I think you have a view of what's happening because it's your day to day. So when you don't see a lot of Nigerians in your day to day, it's kind of skewing your entire viewpoint on it.
But do you see it in yours?
I do, because I know a lot of people in your sector.
Okay, guys.
They're just not in your line, but I know a lot of people in your sector.
So for you as an entrepreneur with multiple businesses, you gonna tell me that you see a bunch of Nigerians in the space that I'm in every day?
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right.
I will.
Make it make sense.
Can we
make it make sense, people?
Hey, man.
You are our numbers, our statistics guy. You're going to have to look this up.
Don't worry. When we get off the call, I'm gonna call one of our good friends who's been in the industry a long time, and I'm gonna call one of our good friends. I'm gonna ask him a question, and then we're gonna follow back up on this episode because I already know what he's gonna say. And he's gonna go against what you're saying, and he's in the same.
I think we need to add something to the pod on this. We need to be able to phone a friend.
We definitely need a guest. We're gonna start adding guests. Keep that in mind.
We need to be able to phone a friend.
Don't let me call them up right now because I dare you. I add them. Let me see if I'm gonna be able to get them on the pod right now.
Gosh,
live on the pod right now.
That is so funny.
Let's phone a friend. We can end this right now.
We're phoning a friend.
No. Tell me what to ask him.
You gonna skew?
Is this
I'm not gonna skew the question.
Who wants to be a millionaire?
I'm not gonna skew the question. I already know my dog gonna answer though. Hopefully.
We're keeping this in if he doesn't answer because
it is Sunday. So. Oh, he's probably
y'all
at
not
church.
That cool.
He's probably at church.
Not the double call.
Yo, Michael. Bro, I had you live on the pod, and you you're just now answering. Come on, bro. I have a question for you right now.
What's going on?
Big question. You're on the clock. All right. From medical, we're talking about medical sales. Mm-hmm. We're talking about medical sales right now. Okay. If you're comparing that, we was comparing it to a Black American versus, and we was comparing a Nigerian American. The question is, from a Nigerian male perspective, do you feel like that is an industry that is what? Typically dominated or favored from Nigerian males in America?
Medical sales, I would say, man, that's a good question. I've never even thought about that, but now that you ask it, I kind of do think that a lot of the African American folks that are in medical sales that I know are Nigerian.
Thank you. And you have been in the industry since what year?
I've been in the industry 10 years.
But more is okay. Would he say that's one of the top ones over?
So let me.
No, he just literally said. But hold on. I just for the pod, I want to say he literally just said. I want to tell everybody what he said. He literally just said he's been in the industry 10 years. Mm-hmm. Okay, he said the African Americans that he knows that is in the industry are typically Nigerian. Is that not what I said earlier? Is that not what I said earlier in the pod? I did say that earlier in the pod. But go ahead.
So Justin, when you go to these national sales networks and these conferences and things like that, are you seeing a good amount of African American men, or do you feel like it's mostly Nigerian men there?
There's definitely both, but there's if you got to compare the ratio of like the number of Nigerian people who are actually in the States versus Black people, and I would say that there's a higher ratio of Nigerian people there than there are Black.
Okay. And then my next question for you is,
I just want Char. Char, is that not what I said though? Is that not, because I did compare it to population? But go ahead.
And then my next question is, when you talk about Black jobs and Black spaces, do you feel like, would you consider medical device sales or medical sales in general is at the top of that list or one of the top 5 compared to things like tech, education, medicine, engineering, or any of those? Do you feel like medical devices is higher than those?
Medical sales as it relates to Nigerian Americans.
Like, do you see more Nigerians in medical device sales or more in medicine, tech, engineering, education, things like that?
Like, is it a top 5?
I wouldn't say it's at the top. I would say those other industries are higher as of right now.
Both of y'all are right.
It's growing in medical sales, but if they're not, I wouldn't say it's at the top.
Okay, so if somebody said that it was if medical sales from because we talked about medical sales being from a minority, like from a Black person standpoint.
Yeah.
If somebody says that industry is dominated typically from Nigerians when you talk about Black people, would you agree with that statement?
I would agree, but you gotta understand, like, you gotta look at the population too. So people are gonna feel like they're not dominated. It's not dominated by Nigerians because maybe there's not as many of us in there compared to the number of like African American people that are in the industry. But,
right.
If at the rate that we are entering this industry, we will surpass in due time.
Okay. All right.
So we're not there yet. Okay, cool.
Tobin, all right, bro.
Appreciate you.
Tobin, you full of it, bro. Hey, one thing we gotta be is honest here, okay? And all I said this whole time was, when you said the population, where I went with it was, you gotta realize that there's more Black people here in America than there are Nigerians. That was directly said earlier when I said it. So when you compare from a population standpoint, I was telling you, you may see more Black people. But when you look at how many Nigerians are here and how many of us are in that industry or entering that industry, it is at a high rate. I literally echoed everything he said.
The crazy thing about us having this conversation, and it kind of ties back into what we're talking about with domestic affairs and foreign affairs, is a lot of that has to do with education here. You get what I'm saying? Because when our parents come over here, they try to put us in the best situations, give us the best resources, and a lot of times we outpace our black counterparts, whether it's just the fact that we have 2-parent households and our family structure is geared that way, and the Nigerian culture is to push education on us. So we end up being ahead of a lot of our peers. Let's be honest, and that's no disrespect to them. That's just the situations that we're born into. And the lack of education that's poured into some of these communities, that could be easily changed with, instead of the money that we put in foreign affairs, by figuring out a way to boost our education here so people aren't reading at a 4th grade level for when they graduate high school, setting them up for success when they get to school. And even if you don't go to school, just setting yourself up for success by being a more well-rounded, educated person.
Yeah, I think it's, me personally, I think it's more of a sense of it's within the medicine sector.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think that has more to do with it because, it's kind of irresponsible. I think there are also a lot of educated black people as well.
Of course.
It's just that they're going into other sectors. I think when you look at the sector that we're typically entering, a lot, as you've said, medicine is big. You see a lot of Nigerian doctors, you see a lot of Nigerian nurses, and then within that sector, you also see people that are not necessarily licensed to be able to be a doctor, nurse, or whatever it is, surgeon, whatever. But you also see, people that are educated that are entering the sales side of things, because we do typically well in sales, and that's medical sales. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what has a lot to do with it. Okay. Great conversation, though.
That was. I loved it. I loved it. Since we are talking about politics, we cannot skip this last question because this one's really big with the way our economy is and what's been going on in other countries that are our allies. I feel like not recently, maybe not in the last 10 years or so, we haven't really talked about this a lot, but it's been really big right now with the way that the American economy is mixed with our allies having issues and us helping them. So I feel like this is something that we definitely need to discuss and get opinions on. And always we want to hear other people's opinion because this is a big topic. When it comes to foreign affairs versus domestic affairs, do you think we should be involved with other countries' problems? Especially now. Let's talk about, we're talking about in the present, not overall. Right now, should we, with the way that our economy is in America?
I mean, to be honest with you, I feel like, and I'm real big on not pouring from an empty cup. You know what I'm saying? So knowing we have issues here in America, it is kind of distasteful to see the amount of money that we put into some of these foreign affairs. I completely understand it from making sure we keep allies happy, making sure we're protecting ourselves from anything happening, to us from foreign countries and things like that. But we've got a lot of shit that needs to be fixed here from, a local level, from education, an educational standpoint, from our police here. You get what I'm saying? There's just a lot of things that just jobs in general, the amount of homeless that we have here, so many issues that we can tackle with the money that we've displaced into other countries that I'm like, what are we doing here? You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where my head is at. I've always leaned towards making sure domestically we're okay and then participating in some of the foreign affairs.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. It's man, it's such a big topic, to be honest. But it's America spends too much money on military. We just do. We put, if you look at from a budget standpoint, military is number one. We spend the most money, more. If you look at the gap from what America spends on military spending versus other countries, it's almost disrespectful. Real talk. It's disrespectful. And the reason of that is because America is probably seen as the bully, which it is, in other countries.
Yeah.
We're over in other countries meddling in their own business, and it's only for a reason. The reason why we're doing that is because we're trying to control what other countries are doing in our best interest. And at some point we have to sit here and say, forget what these other countries are doing. Let them duke it out, and let's focus on us here. Let's cut, even if it means that we have to cut back a little bit in military spending and spend it more on education, spend it more on fixing the homelessness problem that we have here. There's no reason of like why a country like Dubai, and you look at how clean their country is and how you don't see like homeless people on the streets. Like from a GDP standpoint, we have the most money other than any other country. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy because when you look at countries like Canada mind their own business.
Right.
They do.
And at some point we have to look at our economy and understand like there are classes of people in America that need help.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We need help. We need help financially. We need help from a literacy standpoint. And there's so many options and ways for us to be able to pour into healthcare in this country and to pour more into education.
Yeah.
That's my opinion on it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I mean, I do feel like Tobin said, we have to do a certain amount to keep allies with these people. We definitely want that. But I think that we need to be focusing a lot more on us. We're hurting right now. What was considered middle class and you lived a comfortable life is so different. The bar is so much higher. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's really sad. Whether you're uneducated or educated at this point, it is hard to find a job.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like I know very educated people that are going months and months and months without a job. And that's because also the job market is so competitive right now because of the economy. So many companies had to lay off so many employees.
Yeah.
And there's this huge gap. There's this huge gap in just how much grocery prices are compared to how much the average income is right now.
Yep.
And groceries are a necessity. It is a necessity to feed like your family. It's sad that it's almost cheaper to go on $1, $2, $3 menu at a fast food restaurant to feed your family than to be able to go shop at a grocery store. And why do you think that leads to also like obesity and all these, health issues? And then on top of that, you have these health issues and our healthcare stinks. Like it really, I feel like affects more of, which is the meat of us, is a middle class person. Because if you are below, a poverty line, you are getting assistance, but you have to be like dirt poor.
Right.
And then if you're not, then you get no assistance and you're just kind of stuck.
Right.
And I'm like, we need to fill that gap. Like our economy is hurting right now. We push to buy houses. That's the goal. Like that's the American dream.
Shit,
People can't even buy
houses.
a house right now.
Somebody said, what happened to all the house parties? And they said, ain't nobody got no house no more.
No one has a house anymore. And then it's just a trickle effect because if you can't buy a house, realtors aren't making money. They aren't getting paid. Like it really does trickle down.
And mortgage loan officers, and these people, and then it just trickles down effect. Back in the day, it's like, minimum wage was able to pay, minimal living expenses.
Yeah.
Back in the day, like when you look at the good great 90s, it seemed like it was just the other day, but it was a long time ago. When you look in the 90s, when people talk about how much better the economy was, when you look at rent, you're talking about like $500 a month in rent. Whoa. And even if you look at from a minimum wage standpoint, they were making like, $5.50 an hour. Mm-hmm. Minimum wage in a lot of different states is like what, $7.50, $7.25. It's went up like $2.
And rent's $3,000.
Yes.
Tripled and quadrupled. The only way to get it anywhere close to that is if you want to live with roaches and rats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's just like it's crazy that inflation has gone up, but our minimum wage and minimum standard has not matched, which is why I feel like the economy is so trash right now.
And if we want to take it back and bring it full circle, talking about what happened to Trump and how people are feeling about politics and everything right now, us giving billions of dollars to other people and not taking care of our own economy is honestly what's causing this pressure. It's boiling in people.
Yeah.
People are so upset to see we can give away this amount of money, but I'm working a job making $100,000, which used to be like, oh, you made it if you got six figures. Now people still struggling making that. Like that has people like steaming. And that right there, it's just all an effect of like why this, how we're having this election and why there is so much emotion and irrationality and everything behind this. People making these decisions and arguing on social media, not respecting other people's opinions. It all boils down to like that. Yeah. People are struggling. When
America doesn't value education, and that's where it starts. Like, why are our teachers getting paid entry-level salaries? Talk to me about that.
Talk. My mom is a teacher.
55, 60,000 for a teacher?
Yes.
That is putting that amount. These teachers have the future in their hands.
And you have doctors because they had a teacher to teach them.
And their job has gotten harder.
Yes.
They're asked to do way more now.
We have doctors because a teacher had to teach them.
Absolutely.
These people are the foundation of these people who have become successful, and they have so much harder. There's so much,
and we're getting dumber and dumber.
Yeah,
that's what it is. We're getting dumber and dumber.
That's why teachers are leaving education.
Yes.
They're trying to get into these other spaces. And when we talk about like the idea of this all coming full circle, the first thing that I mentioned was having some remorse for the things that have happened.
Right.
I still understand why people don't, though, because they feel like they haven't been taken care of. Why should I care about what's happening to him if they don't care about what's happening to me?
Right.
Full circle moment, though. If you feel that way, what do you need to do? What did you say? Vote.
Absolutely.
Like if you feel in that way,
I love it.
Then that's what you need to get out there and vote, because we really are struggling. Go see what is going to help you and your family. This is a big deal right now. People are working very, very hard just to live paycheck to paycheck, not to be able to enjoy their lives.
Fell out when I heard my nephew's teacher couldn't the grammar on the it wasn't it.
Okay. Teachers don't even.
Why are you? Hold on now. What you teach?
Well, and also, like, to his point, people are getting out of that field, and so they are starving. They're pretty much letting anybody like come in at this point, because they're starving to have people to fill the classrooms for the amount of students that are there. And that's not education. Is something, it's a pride. Like, you should be proud that you are teaching people, but when you're paying these people and they can't even barely survive, like that's really sad. These teachers all the time. I mean, I don't ever remember this when I was growing up. I never remember my teacher asking me, like, we got our school supplies, right? But outside of that, I never remember my teacher sending a note home asking, can you bring this? Can you bring that? Aria's teachers are constantly, they're out of markers. They're out of like things that you would think, but and then the school isn't helping them because they don't have money. Right. So this is having to come out of their own pocket, but they don't have extra money to buy expo markers. Those things are expensive. Extra supplies that are for the entire class. I mean, it is several times a year that we get notes for the teachers asking for. It's just so sad.
Some of these teachers got GoFundMe accounts.
Yeah.
That's real. That's real.
I've seen them. They got GoFundMe. I helped on some of them.
Yeah.
GoFundMe. So, to bring a close, it's just like, what do you think? What do you guys think from do you feel like we should be overseas, helping other countries? Do you feel like we should focus more on, the U.S. and focus more on putting more money into education and putting more money into these other things? Talk to us. Let us know what the viewers think, as we discuss these topics.
I like it.
I like it too. That's a good one. So again, when you go to comment and tell us your opinion, we want to make sure that you are subscribed. So look up at that button and see if you've subscribed or not. Yeah, and click it if you haven't. All right. Well, that's a wrap for us. Again, my name is Char. This is my guy T.O. and this is my guy Mike.
It's episode 5, All Things Considered.
And we out. Peace.
Out.
Hey. Dreaming how dreamers do, most of my life feel like deja vu. Even when the pressure's on, I'm careful how I make my moves. Mamba mentality, I ain't come here to play to lose. Why would I play with you? But if you made me choose,